Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is Friday, the 1st of December. It's 11 a.m. Central European time, and the countdown to the end of the year and hopefully Bitcoin ETFs is just around the corner. We have at most 6 weeks left before the Bitcoin ETFs. And I think we are now going to start moving into that period of time where larger players start to FOMO in. And that's part of what we're going to be covering today. So on the show, we are going to take a little bit of a divergence at the minute because Bitcoin is pumping quite significantly. And we've talked about this and we've talked about this. We were talking about 38,500 being the level at which the shorts will get liquidated. We've got to 38,770. We're going to take a look at the charts in a minute. But before we do that, what I wanted to do was start the show with a bit of a history of Bitcoin and the returns that Bitcoin gets over the different periods of a year and also the different cycles. So we're going to take a look at that. We've got some news about XRP, some news about Doge, Emma, and what's going on in America yet again. $363 million of crypto has been stolen in November alone. We're going to take a look at that. Then we're going to look at Arbitrum signing an NFT partnership with Rari. Then we're going to have our quiz at the end of the show. So that is normally what we have to do. But it's a Friday. We like to go a little bit slower on a Friday. We don't have to rush as much through the stream. We can take our time. So let's have a quick look. Markets 1.45 trillion. That's helped an awful lot by the fact that Bitcoin has pumped nearly 3% in the last 24 hours. The volume is down. Now that may be a lag. I don't think the volume is going to be down today. Bitcoin dominance at 52%. If I hit refresh, I imagine these figures are going to change. No, they're not. So Bitcoin dominance 52%. I think that is, I think that's low. I think it hasn't been updated. If we move down, Bitcoin is at 38,800. I'm not going to look at Bitcoin just yet. Let's just get through. 24 hours, it's up 3%. Ethereum is up 4%. Ethereum is back over $2,100. Remember them. The important thing is not these pumps. The important thing is what levels are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the likes. What level are they going to hold when it retraces? That's what's important. Because we could pump to 38,900 and then come all the way back down to 37,600. What's important is holding the line. When you take the ground in this war between the bulls and the bears, the most important thing is to take the ground and then hold it, not retreat straight back to where we were 24 hours ago. 24 hours, what is up? Celestia is almost at $7. C or SAY has gone up nearly 11%. Immutable X, ICP, Frax are all up reasonable amounts. Losers, not many losers on a day like this. Terra Classic, I've warned many times, stay away from that. IOTA is up. IOTA is down and Theta is down. But again, not too many losers. So that's where we are with prices. What I want to do now, before we get into the show, I want to take you over a little bit of a history of where Bitcoin is and explain to you why there is this 4-year cycle that we talk about. Now, the 4-year cycle coincides with the Bitcoin halving, which is every 4 years. Now, I don't know if you can see very well, so I'll try and make it as large as possible for you to see. So the reason I'm showing you this, it's not going to fit on the screen perfectly. Okay, we'll try and keep it this size. It's very difficult to read. What I want to highlight is 2017 was a 215% pump in the price of Bitcoin in that quarter alone. 2020, 168% pump. 2023, we are up 42%. We have these cycles where historically we don't do well in certain quarters compared to other quarters. So if you look at quarter 3, which we've just come through, we don't tend to have a good quarter 3. Quarter 3 tends to be kind of the end of summer, people are on holidays, it's not a great period of time, but quarter 4 is where we tend to, on the whole, have a good pump. And we are up 42% so far in this quarter. This also applies, which again I can't quite get to fit on the screen, to Ethereum and every other crypto. We have cycles within the year, then we have cycles between months, and then we have cycles between the Bitcoin halving. Again, I don't want to get into too much depth. I just wanted to show you that there are cycles that Bitcoin goes through that kind of gives us an indication of where the prices are going to go. Unfortunately, this hasn't quite gone to plan because I can't get it to quite fit on the screen. So September, for example, if we take September, which you can see, Bitcoin loses value nearly every single September there has been. In fact, there's only been a couple of Septembers in the last 10 years where Bitcoin hasn't lost money. And then you compare that to October, the following month. October sees a lot higher returns for Bitcoin. 28.5% this year, 5.5%, 40% the year before, 27% up, 10%. It goes on and on and on. The point I'm trying to make is that when you're looking at the charts, so when you're looking at crypto prices in general, remember that there are websites that you can go to that will help you make an informed decision on where prices are going to go. There is also something called the December rally. The December rally is the price of the stock market on the 1st of December always increases 5 years out of 6 years out of 7, always increases by about 1 to 2% by the 31st of December, and it's called the Santa Rally. It exists in the stock market. It is known to people. It's one of those things. Yes, there's mitigating factors. The insurance companies and the pension funds sell lots of their stocks off in September, and then they buy them back in December. So that has some effect. But crypto follows the same kind of patterns. So whenever you're looking at where we're going to go, try and look at these. So what we're going to see from this, in my opinion, is that we're going to have a very strong quarter 4, a very strong quarter 1, and then potentially next year a weaker quarter 2 and quarter 3. And that ties in with the halving. The halving happens, there's massive hype, there's a huge run up. We have 3 or 4 months of really good gains in crypto. And then the halving happens, and there's a period of time, funnily enough, it's about 6 to 9 months, where the price doesn't reflect the supply shock of the lack of Bitcoin, and the price stagnates a little bit. And then we have an absolutely parabolic run. We could see the same thing next year. The only caveat is, of course, the ETF approval in January, but it will come in January, and then we should have 3 or 4 months of a headwind where we do see those prices start to pump. So when you look at the charts we're going to look at in a minute, and when we look at what Michael Saylor has just done, you start to understand why Michael Saylor is buying Bitcoin today. You understand why Cathie Wood is selling Grayscale Trust and buying Bitcoin through MicroStrategy. So there is method to the madness. These people play longer term games than the people that trade on a daily basis or trade on a weekly basis. They go for long-term gain. So if we start off with Michael Saylor, now we kind of see the patterns within the markets. He's just bought at the end of November, going into December. He has just bought the largest Bitcoin purchase that he's made in the last 2 years. He's just bought $600 million of Bitcoin. Why has he done that? Because he knows, the same as we do, that everything is going to fall into line at the start of next year. There is potentially going to be another interest rate hike in December, but then next year we're going to see interest rates coming down. We have the Bitcoin halving, we have the ETFs. He could be sitting on a 2x of what he paid for these Bitcoins today in 6 months' time. So he has just bought 16,130 Bitcoin in November, and it was the largest buy since it purchased nearly 19,500 Bitcoin in February 2021. He does like to buy big chunks of Bitcoin. Now, before we go any further, one last thing. I am going to drop the red envelope at 20 past 11. I've been doing that for the last few days, and it works a lot better than dropping boxes at the start. So if you give me, we'll go through Bitcoin and then we'll drop the boxes. So Saylor has been DCAing in, dollar cost averaging in, but not the same way that we dollar cost average in, where we might buy $100 of Bitcoin a month. This guy is coming in with hundreds of millions of dollars to buy up Bitcoin. He knows as well as we do that when these Bitcoin ETFs are approved, we're going to see potentially a 10%, 15% move in the price of Bitcoin in a very short space of time. And then the longer term effects are going to be seen and they're going to be felt. It's going to be a substantial change in the liquidity of Bitcoin, in the scarcity of Bitcoin, in the price of Bitcoin. Everything is now going to start moving up. And if you're in now and you are sitting on your Bitcoin now, there should be no thought in your head to sell any of that Bitcoin in the next, probably the next 2 years. You should be holding that for the next 2 years minimum. November 2025 is supposed to be the peak of the next bull run. MicroStrategy additionally entered into a settlement with Cowen and Firm, Canaccord, Genuity and BTIG to supply as much as 750 million of widespread inventory. So MicroStrategy have made the first move. They've bought their Bitcoin in November, which is just over 6 months before the halving. He knows what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. Now, just a little aside before we move on to look at the charts, I just wanted to show you this. I thought this was really cool. So today in Sofia in Bulgaria, the Bitcoin bar opens for Bitcoiners, and there it is. It's in its beautiful orange. It's not gold or yellow. Remember what Brogan says. The beautiful orange Bitcoin bar there. We're not going to go into it in too much. Suffice to say, if you pay for your drinks in Bitcoin, you're going to get a 10% discount. There is a picture of the owner there in front of the Bitcoin logo, and I thought this was really cool. Now, why is this important? Because in the last bull run, we had multiple bars and cafes opening up. We had the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think it was in Tokyo. We had another one in San Francisco. We had a burger bar. And it's just another signal that the bull run is about to happen. So if you're in Sofia in Bulgaria, please try and find this bar. Please go there and see if you can get a picture taken in front of the bar, because it would be great to see. So that opens today in Sofia in Bulgaria, but that was just an aside. Now we're going to go and look at the charts, because as we've just seen, Bitcoin is absolutely pumping. Have we managed to hold, or have we come straight back down again? So if we look on the 5 minute, well, wouldn't you know, we have our channel here, and we seem to have come up and touched the very tip of this channel that we have been in, which was at 38,000. What's that? 38,800. So we've touched the top of this channel and we've retraced just a tad, but we have now liquidated the shorts. So at some point in the next few hours, we're going to find out whether it really was 3.1 billion worth of shorts that have been liquidated, or whether any of them actually got out before this was going to happen. Remember, I've been saying now for a long time, this blue line here, if you were listening yesterday, you'll know I was saying that at 38,500, there is $3 billion worth of shorts to be liquidated. And we broke it. And I said at the time, if we break it, we're going to see a massive move up. And we've shot up in a period of about an hour. We've broken through. We've nearly hit $39,000. That is a significant move. And now all of those shorts have been liquidated. Are we going to come down now? And are we going to do this? That is one possible move for us. Because once you once you liquidate the shorts, the next thing you do is you liquidate the longs. Because what will happen as soon as this level's been broken, everybody will have started to long Bitcoin, expecting it to go to $40,000, which it will do, but it's not going to happen in an hour. It's going to take a day, 2, 3, 4 days to get there. So when people think we're going to long or going to go up, they're going to long, and that's when the whales come back in and say, right, we've now liquidated all the shorts. What we're going to do now is we're going to force the price down and we're going to liquidate the longs. That's what's likely to happen now if we don't break back up, which it doesn't appear to be that we're doing. We're back down to 38,650. Remember what I said at the start? If we do break these significant levels, we need to hold them. Otherwise, we're just going to come back down and do this. That's a possibility. But those shorts have now gone. That's the end of it. Still, long term, I haven't changed my target for Bitcoin. I think we are going to be, if I move this line back up, I think we're going to be at this level before the end of December. There is no reason on earth why we shouldn't be at this level, given all of the bullish news. So I think we could do something like this, break up to touch 40,000, and then maybe come back down again, and then pushing higher into next year. So that's what I see on the daily chart. I know I'm on the 5-minute, but that's it. I'm just drawing it out for you. So if we can get above 38,800, I think it's 38,850 is the top of this channel. If we can break out, then we are off to the races. And 40,000 really isn't that far from where we are now. It is $1,400, which is, what's that? 0.3%? No, 3%. 3% from where we are now. A 3% move from where we are. We've just done a 2.5% move. So let's see where we are. I think we're going to break up. Now we're going to go and talk about XRP again, because XRP has been a puzzle to me for the last few weeks. The news coming out is massively bullish. The prices coming out don't reflect that. So I found this article today. He is predicting an XRP bull run. So before we get into that, what I am going to do is drop some boxes, and that way we can just 1 second, just need to restart the app again. I'm going to drop the red envelope now, so if you bear with me for 1 second, I am going to drop this and get cracking. Right, I'm just going to put the stream on pause while I drop the boxes. Okay, all the boxes have been dropped, or the red envelope, should I say, have been dropped. So make sure to go and claim them with our best wishes. Now let's move on to have a little look at this XRP news. So as I was saying, on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember which day it was, the XRP news coming out is massively, massively bullish. We have the news about the XRP ecosystem. They've fixed a few bugs which now allow for DeFi, money markets, NFTs. All of that is now fixed. So it's a matter of time before that kind of starts to bring in traction on XRP. We also have on the horizon at some point XRP staking. Again, massively bullish news. In addition to that, we have XRP teaming up with countries to provide CBDCs. So XRP is not only going to be a payment provider in the future, it's also going to provide CBDC functionality to small European countries, Asian countries, African countries, whatever. That puts them in direct competition with Ethereum, which is fine. There are plenty of countries and plenty of CBDCs to go around. What we will need in the future is, of course, interoperability between the two chains. So all of the news is positive coming out of XRP. The chart isn't doing anything. So another crypto YouTuber, Dusty BC, has given his bullish scenario. Bitcoin is up 250% from its 2017 high. XRP is down a third. As we know, the XRP price has been suppressed massively from, of course, the SEC case. The majority of the case has been closed now. XRP have won. What they're doing now is Brad is haggling with the SEC over the size of the fine. I think the SEC wants somewhere in the region of, is it 500, 300, 700 million? And I think they should really be looking at paying 100 to 200 million, because I think the SEC always go in and demand the highest amount. Don't forget, however, whatever the amount is, Ripple can pay it. Ripple have $1 billion, $2 billion in cash sitting on the side to pay these kinds of fines. So getting to a dollar is not that hard. It's getting into a sustainable rally that is the difficult part. You don't want a one-time pump. You want it to be basically continuing. This is exactly what I have just said about anything that goes up in a straight line. So we've just seen on this channel multiple examples of coins that 3, 4, 5, 6x. But if they don't hold those gains, that pump was irrelevant. And we're going to get onto the XRP chart, and I'm going to show you what happened after the SEC case. It had a huge run up and it came straight back down again. So I'll give you my thoughts on that in a minute. So he doesn't envision any scenario where a $1 investment in XRP today fails to return $5 in the future. $1 could be worth about $32. The analyst urged viewers to remain committed despite crypto's volatility. In your whole crypto journey, don't give up now. Highlighting how long-term XRP holders have persevered, he also advised investors determine clear price targets for taking profits. I like this guy. This is exactly what I have been saying. We talk about taking profits a lot on this channel. It's important. The golden rule, remember, is nobody ever goes bust taking profits. That's the key. So let me go and have a look at the charts and explain what I'm talking about and what he is also talking about. I wish it would stop defaulting for the 5 minutes. Okay. So very similar to what we've just seen with the Bitcoin mini pump we've just seen there to liquidate the shorts. What happened here was we've been following this trend line, which I've been mentioning now for at least 3 or 4 months. And we've been bouncing along quite nicely along this trend line in an upward fashion, very similar to the channel that Bitcoin is in at the minute. It's just moving up and moving up. But look what happened. Look what happened when the SEC case was resolved. We came up to 94 cents, and I've said this multiple times on the channel. But what did we do? Did we hold this fib level, this fib level? Nope. We came down, we tried to hold this fib level, We came straight back down to the trend line that we have been in since the start of the year. That pump was a complete waste of time. In fact, all this pump did was lock FOMO investors in. So if you bought XRP at anything above 73 cents, you're still in a loss. And that's after they've won the court case. We then had a mini pump up here, which took us to 72 cents back at the start of November. But again, we've come back down again. XRP is not retaining its pumps. I think it's PTSD. I think the other part of the court case is still looming large in the background. And I think that people are trying to wait for absolute clarity on XRP before they start to invest in it. This coin should not be 61 cents. It shouldn't. It simply shouldn't. This coin at this stage of the bull market should be above $1. Now, the video that I made back in June or July, where I was trying to give price predictions for XRP, I was saying it was going to get to $1, $1.50 if it won the court case. It didn't. It fell just short of that $1 mark. But long term, I think XRP should be a minimum of $3 to $5, which kind of correlates a little bit with his $5 target. I like to be a bit more conservative. So if we say there's a $3 gain, a $3 price target on XRP from here, minimum, that's a 5x from where we are now. And yes, that's not ripping up trees. It's not going to do a bonk or a Pepe or a Dino or any of these other meme coins which could 100x. But you got to remember, this is the third or fourth biggest crypto in the world. You're not going to see 100x on XRP. People talking about a $689 XRP have no idea what they're talking about. We will be very lucky to get to $5 to $6 to $9. Very lucky. And that will involve an awful lot of money coming in. It will involve maybe an XRP ETF or an altcoin ETF coming in with maybe Cardano, Solana, XRP. We're not going to see a $25 XRP. You have to temper your expectations and just look at where the price is of XRP. It's a $33 billion market cap. To get to Ethereum, it would have to 8x. That would put it at $4.20. $4.20 for XRP would give it the market cap of Ethereum. If we think Ethereum is going to hit $1 trillion, if we think Bitcoin is going to hit whatever that's going to hit, $150,000 and hit a 3 trillion market cap, then where it realistically could XRP get to? Could it 10x? Yes, it could. A 10x on XRP still gives you a $6.10 XRP. Where are you going to get a $65, a $25 or a $15 XRP from? That's the question you have to ask yourself. This market cap is more important than this price when you look at a coin and how far it's going to move. That's what's important, because it takes volume to shift. And a 10x, for me, I would be ecstatic with a 10x. A $6.10 XRP, I would be selling from $5 up. I would be DCAing out of XRP from about $5, because that is a 9x from here, 8.5x from here. You're not going to get those blow-off gains in these top 10 coins. But if you're building a conservative portfolio to make you generational wealth, you should still have XRP. You should still have Cardano. I'm not going to say Dogecoin. I don't think you should be holding Dogecoin. However, Dogecoin will pump to maybe 20 cents when X approves it as the tipping function. So also, with that being said, none of this, what I'm saying now, is financial advice. Everything I'm saying is my personal opinion. And as always, remember one very important thing. Nobody pays me to say any of this. These are my opinions. I could be as wrong I could be completely wrong on everything I'm saying. These are just my opinions. And what I always advise everybody to do is go and listen to multiple people. Go and listen to Ben Cowan. Go and listen to Gareth Soloway if you want to believe in a $10,000 Bitcoin. But take on what they believe is going to happen and make your own educated decisions based on that. Now, we have put Doge to the moon. That was a nice segue. I don't actually mean the price to the moon. I mean Doge is going to go to the moon. SpaceX's Doge 1 lunar mission receives final approval from the US FCC. Doge price is up 4%. Why would the price of a token move based on them sending physical Doge into space? Again, it's a meme coin. I don't like it. I own 1.2 Doge. But if you want to make profits, then potentially buying Doge now and selling at 18 or 20 cents, that would make a good move, in my opinion. To 2x or 3x your money from here I'm not going to say anything against that, because at some point Elon Musk is going to come out and he's going to shill Doge. He's going to introduce it as the tipping function. It's going to pump like nobody's business. But remember to sell the pump. That's the key with Doge. I'm not going to go into the article. I really don't care about it. But I just wanted to point out that they are physically going to send it to the moon. I imagine they're going to send it up in some kind of Trezor or some kind of ledger device. Who knows? But as you can see, the price is moving up. Now with Doge, again, we were in this pattern from November last year. We're in this downward pattern, putting in lower lows, lower highs. We got to October, and like a lot of coins, we moved up. And Doge is now in this kind of similar pattern, I suppose you could say, to Bitcoin, in terms of it's now putting in higher highs, it's putting in higher lows, and potentially we could see some kind of movement like this until we hit resistance. Remember to always look back in the charts and see what price caused resistance to anything you look at. So if you go back over the last 12 months, you will see we've tried to break this 10-cent mark multiple occasions, and we haven't. What's going to take Doge physically to the moon is SpaceX, and price-wise is Elon Musk again. And where could we go? I would imagine that we're going to, first of all, we're going to try and take out this previous point of resistance, which is sitting at about 15 cents. So there's a doubling of your money. Now, if you look up here, I've already written price targets. 17 cents would bring you back up to this price point, and we can go higher towards 20 cents, which is up here. So for me, if you want a bag of Doge, by all means. I'm not going to be buying any Doge. I have no interest in it whatsoever. But there is money to be made out of, I would call them white swan events. A white swan event is where Spain turns around and makes Bitcoin legal tender and nobody expects it. Twitter announces Dogecoin is going to be its tipping function. It's a white swan. It's an event that takes that particular coin out of the current crypto market cycle and gives it a pump. We've seen it with Solana. Solana's gone up nearly 500%. Why? Because institutional investors are coming in and buying it. It's not quite a white swan, but it's taken the price of Solana out of the $8, $10, $12 range and pushed it to $60. That's a kind of white swan event that we'd be looking at with Doge. I could be completely wrong on the 20-cent mark. Maybe it goes to 30 cents. But you have to kind of look at where the fib levels are. I mean, back up here at 25 cents. I mean, at a push we could. The one thing I would say is, of all the coins that I've ever traded, Doge is the one where I've made the most profit on. I sold Doge the day before Elon Musk appeared on Saturday Night Live, and I think I sold it for about 68 cents. Which I think at the time, there we go. Look at that. I've even got my memory on here. I sold at 69 cents and the top was 73 cents. That's the closest I've ever come to timing the top. And I don't think I've ever bought Doge since. It's not my cup of tea. So there we go with Doge. If you want to make some shortish term money, maybe look at Doge, because you could buy it, wait for the news to come out, and remember, very much like XRP, you probably have about 48 hours to sell. So wait for the news to come out. If it does go to 20-25 cents, sell. Take the profit. It doesn't matter if it then goes to 40 cents or back down to 15 cents. Lock in your profits. Lock in your 2x or your 3x and take that money and put it into a project with real long-term prospects. Link, Quant, even ADA, Solana, distribute it around, whatever, but take some profits off that. Now we're going to get on to, we've only got 9 minutes and we've got quite a lot of news left. I'm going to skip over a few bits of these. They're really not that important. You're most welcome trading for a living. I'm glad you like the box. Remember, if you're in chat, I haven't been keeping an eye on chat for a while, primarily because the chat doesn't appear to be working for me today. So let me go and have a little look at chat. I'll try it and get back in and see if anybody says anything. It's just not having it today. It's very, 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 very intermittent, the chat. It's just not even loading. Anyway, I can't read chat, so if you have said anything, I do apologise. I've not been able to read it. I can't see an awful lot of the comments. So let's get on with this. We don't have to go through this in great depth. Tom Emmer is pro-crypto. There is a group of senators in America that are pro-crypto. There are a group that are anti-crypto. The reason that they are pro or anti simply comes down to who their sponsors are. You will find a lot of senators who are really against crypto. They tend to be the ones in bed with the banks. Now, once JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, BlackRock, ARK Invest, whatever it might be, once they get their ETFs, you are going to see a night and day switch from anti-crypto to pro-crypto. As soon as these senators can get their hands on crypto, they are going to come in and buy, and they're going to shill it. They're going to pass all this legislation. This is my opinion. I'm not saying this is a fact. This is my opinion of what's going to happen. So he's come in and he's criticised the Treasury Department for having a saviour-like complex when asked about its crypto recommendations during the policy summit. Now, the issue here is that the Treasury want to monitor all of the DeFi transactions. As you know, as I know, that is a nearly impossible task for anybody. What you need to do is you need to rely on individuals to pay their fair amount of tax, not go and snoop to prove people wrong. This is the wrong kind of attitude you should have about your citizens, in my opinion. So we're going to skip on from that. And let's see if we can get to the quiz by 11:45. We've got 6 minutes. We should be able to do it. Now, we do cover these from time to time. This is to do with the fact that crypto is still in its infancy. We are striving for adoption, regulation, all of those things that I've mentioned, but we still have huge loopholes that are being exploited by hackers and the criminal types. So 363 million was taken out of crypto in November. And remember, the other downside to this is that 363 million is downward sell pressure, remember, because that's going to be sold off and the hackers will then obviously do away with the money. So November turned into a wild ride for the crypto world with a string of security breaches causing a stir The financial fallout hit a new high, setting a record for the most losses in a single month this year. Now, the biggest one was, of course, the 131 million hack on one of the exchanges, which is blacked out. I can't read it. Then there was another hack, which I'm not going to mention the name of, Kyber Swap. They also were hacked. The combined losses for November were jaw-dropping, hitting 316.4 million from direct exploits, 45.5 million from flash loan attacks, and 1.1 million from exit scams. Now, that gives you a total of 1.7 billion, which is an awful lot of money to disappear. But remember, the more crypto is worth, the more these hacks are going to be worth. So if you are stealing 100 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is only worth $15,000, that's a different amount than if you steal 100 Bitcoin at $100,000. So bear in mind that these amounts in cash are going to get bigger the further into the bull market we go. So in 2 years' time, this could be $3 billion in crypto stolen in November in 2 years' time, because the price of crypto has gone up so dramatically that even though it's the same amount of crypto that's been stolen, in dollars, it's 10 times or 9 times the amount that's been stolen. So always bear that in mind. It's not necessarily a level playing field when it comes to things. You can look at this with NFTs, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. If you buy a Bored Ape for 40 ETH and sell it for 60 ETH, you have made 20 ETH profit. But if you do that calculation in dollars, and ETH was worth 3 times as much when you bought it than when you sold it, the newspapers are going to report that Justin Bieber has lost $200,000 on a Bored Ape, when in fact he hasn't. He sold at a profit of 20 ETH. So that's what you've got to bear in mind. There's always a spin that the news are going to play on this. Instead of saying Bieber has made 20 ETH profit, they will want to push the narrative that he's lost $50,000 or $100,000, because that sells more papers than positive news. Now, the most important thing and the takeaway from this is to do with your crypto, keeping your crypto safe. In my opinion, the 3 ways to keep your crypto safe, and I've said this before, the OGs are going to have heard this a load of times, but I'm going to say it again for anybody that's new. There are 3 ways to hold your crypto: on an exchange, on a non-custodial wallet, and in a cold storage wallet. The non-custodial wallet is the one you should avoid the most. It's called a hot wallet. I was going to do a piece today about Medium articles that I've seen. Medium is like a blog website. There are countless fake airdrop articles. Countless. I counted 5 today on the first page. Fake Celestia airdrops, fake Jupiter airdrops, fake Pyth airdrops, sending you to websites where you connect your wallet and you'll lose everything in your wallet. If you are a beginner, if you are new to crypto, if this is the first time you've ever listened to anybody talk about crypto or anything like that, keep your money on the exchange that you are currently listening to me on. Make sure you have 2-factor authentication turned on. Make sure you have anti-phishing turned on. Make sure you have SMS notifications turned on if you have that. Make your account as secure as possible. That is the best bit of advice I can give anybody. If, however, you are au fait and you understand crypto and whatever it might be, fine. Still keep your money on an exchange if that's what you want to trade with. Keep a small amount of money on a non-custodial wallet to do your airdrops or gas, pay for gas fees, whatever. And then use a cold storage wallet. Use Ledger, use Trezor, whatever it might be. The worst place to keep your money is a MetaMask wallet or a Phantom wallet or anything like that. It takes 1 click and 1 confirmation to lose your entire wallet, and it affects the best people in crypto have been drained this year. Don't take your money off that exchange. That exchange that you're listening to us on right now is the securest place for you to keep your money if you don't know what you're doing. because I'm not going to tell you to put it onto a cold storage wallet if you are new to crypto, because the chances of you losing it or forgetting your codes or losing it are too great. The risk of this exchange going out of business is the smallest risk you can take compared to losing it all through human error, putting it on a hot wallet like MetaMask and clicking the wrong link. They are far riskier than keeping your money on an exchange. Of all the exchanges that have gone bust, they've gone bust because of the bad actors involved, not because the exchange is a bad exchange. Now, we are going to move on very quickly. I know a couple of people that listen are big on Arbitrum. And Arbitrum we've looked at quite a few times on the charts, and it's been going down and down and down. However, what's key to a lot of these layers, layer 2s, layer 1s, whatever it might be, is adoption, utility, and usage. If you've got a layer 1 like SUI, SUI is going to go to nothing if nobody uses it. Blazelle is going to go to 0 if nobody uses it. You need adoption, you need utility, you need people to be using the chains. And that's where interoperability comes along as well, where you can interconnect chains, you can connect DeFi protocols, you can connect all sorts together to create a massive spider's web of interoperability. And Arbitrum has teamed up with Rari for a new NFT layer 3 chain. Remember, there's layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. There's 4 layers. Layer 2 are things like Polygon that sit on top of Ethereum, which is a layer 1. But then you have layer 0. They provide the backbone to blockchains. Layer 3 are like the utility apps that you get on top of layer 2s. So that would be platforms, that would be apps, that would be NFT related functionality. So Rari Foundation is focused on NFT infrastructure, announced it used Arbitrum Orbit Tech to create a new layer 3 chain, Rari Chain, and has just unveiled the test network. Designed with creators and collectors in mind, the Rari Chain emerges as a key NFT infrastructure solution, an EVM equivalent chain built on Arbitrum, designed to deliver a royalty enforcing, high-speed, low-cost, and developer-friendly network for creators, collectors, and builders. One thing I will agree with, that you need royalties. Royalties help keep projects going. Royalties are when you buy an NFT for $100, $2, $5, $8 goes to the original project. That is just what needs to happen to keep those projects going. If you remove royalties, how are they ever going to keep going long term? It's very difficult to keep going long term. So you need royalties, you need enforcement, and believe it or not, as far as NFTs are concerned, I actually think some centralization is a good thing. Because if you lose your Bored Ape, if you lose your CryptoPunk, it's gone forever. You can't get it back. And I do think there needs to be some kind of mechanism. Like, for example, on Solana, you have special switches within NFTs that allows you to freeze those NFTs so they can't be used. I know Star Atlas has that as well. Somebody's wallet got drained, and Star Atlas froze the NFTs within the thieves' wallet. So it can be done, and I do see a future where that is something that it gives you a little, it gives you insurance against theft. And I think not everything decentralized is good. Now, we have overrun a tad, but not to worry. What we're going to do now is bring up the Bitcoin chart. Let's see if we manage to hold 38. Yeah, we're holding well. We are holding well. Let's move this down a little bit. Okay, right. What we're going to do now is we're going to say goodbye to some of our viewers. Thank you for watching. Remember to hit like, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment below, do all of those good things. We are back tomorrow. I am in the studio with Brogan tomorrow. So we're back tomorrow. We are on camera. We are going to be visible to the naked eye. So make sure to come back tomorrow, 11 o'clock Central European time. If the calendar event isn't there, check again in a few hours. I'm going to set up the calendar events later on. I'm going to put the stream on pause while I turn them off, and then when I come back, we're going to do the quiz.